They used your love life against you. Archangel Michael just exposed the entire plan. At exactly the hour your heart broke, heaven noticed. Yes, heaven recorded the tremor in your soul the moment your trust was misused. The hour your tears fell like prayers without words, the heavens stood still. You were not unseen. You were not unheard. Archangel Michael was dispatched not merely to witness, but to war, to draw his flaming sword against every force that dared to make your heart a battlefield. This message arrives not for the masses, but for the marked, for the chosen ones whose hearts were used as pawns in spiritual warfare. Your love life, which should have been a garden of joy, became a terrain of tests. But listen now, it was not for destruction but for divine revelation. There was a strategy in heaven even in the setup. Your relationships weren't random, they were orchestrated. Orchestrated not by chance, not by chaos, but by a higher divine orchestration meant to reveal who you are and who they were. Those who entered your life, some entered with smiles, others with silence, were permitted. But not all were pure. Not all were sent from above. Some came cloaked in affection but carried agendas. And heaven let it play out, not to harm you but to unveil the truth beneath their masks. If you sensed that strange, stinging confusion, the kind where love felt more like loss, where words were warm but intentions were cold, this message is for you. If your spirit has been weary from carrying unanswered questions, stay silent. Stay still. For what's about to be revealed is sacred. This is a divine unveiling. Archangel Michael does not move without purpose. When he speaks, realms shift. And now, he stands ready, sword drawn, shield raised, to break the silence around your story. This is not just a message. It is a moment, a threshold, a holy interruption. To let the atmosphere be still. Let your heart quiet down. For heaven is about to expose what was hidden in plain sight. The ones who used your love as leverage are being named by light. What was buried in emotional chaos is now being exhumed in prophetic clarity. You were never just in love, you were in training. You were not weak, you were what? Your heartbreak was heaven's highlighter, marking you for a deeper purpose. Archangel Michael has come to deliver that understanding, to break spiritual amnesia, and to restore what the enemy thought they buried. Get ready. The revealing begins now. Type I receive if this message resonates. Blessing code 0007 is now being written over your love life. Before midnight strikes, Archangel Michael is releasing revelation. Child of the Most High, there is a divine urgency in the atmosphere. The hourglass of heaven is turning, and time is thick with sacred truth. This message has not come by accident. It has been divinely scheduled to meet you at the intersection of awakening and justice. Archangel Michael, heaven's chief warrior, is now moving with celestial speed to expose the hidden wounds in your love story, and to unveil the darkness behind what they did with your heart. This is not for the faint of spirit. This is not for the easily distracted. This message is a holy summons, a call to those who felt something wasn't right, but had no words for it. A message to those whose intuition screamed, but whose hope still whispered, maybe it's love. You were not wrong. You were not foolish. You were not weak. You were chosen. Chosen not just to feel love, but to understand what happens when love is manipulated. They studied you. They calculated your care. They watched how you loved and how you forgave, how you showed up. And instead of honoring that heart, they tried to harvest it. But hear this, before they entered, heaven already had the outcome. What they thought was emotional manipulation, God allowed for spiritual manifestation. You see, the devil doesn't fight where there is no destiny. The adversary doesn't study what is irrelevant. Your love was never just about emotion. It was tied to your evolution. There is a divine courtroom, and right now, the gavel is about to fall. Archangel Michael, the enforcer of divine justice, stands ready with heaven's scroll. Your name is etched on it. Your story is being read aloud in the courts of the Almighty. Every tear you cried was a testimony. Every silent night was a sacred record. And now, the heavens respond not with pity, but with power. Let it be known, this is not a warning. This is an unveiling, a sacred declaration, an announcement in the spiritual realm that enough is enough. Your heart is no longer a playground for false promises. Your emotions are no longer currency for counterfeit connections. Heaven is reclaiming what hell thought it hijacked. Right now, the realm around you is shifting. You may feel it, a tightness in your chest, a stirring in your spirit, a sense that something is watching. That's because Michael is near, and with him, a host of warring angels. They have been briefed. They have been dispatched. They are encircling your space with divine clarity, preparing to strike down the veils of confusion and reveal the true faces behind the false affection. And so I speak this invocation aloud. Archangel Michael, protector of the pure-hearted, defender of the divine, rise now and encamp around the chosen. Let your sword cut every soul tie not sealed by God. Let your shield block every emotional arrow sent to silence their spirit. Let heaven's wind blow away the residue of counterfeit intimacy. And let divine timing bring this revelation exactly when their soul can bear it. You are not just hearing this. You are being activated by it. Don't dismiss the chills, the tears, the sudden awareness. It is all part of the unveiling. And the moment you say yes to this truth, the healing begins, the judgment falls, and the restoration accelerates. This is your moment. This is your hour. And before midnight strikes, not the midnight on the clock, but the midnight in your spirit, revelation will release, and you will no longer be confused about what happened. You will know. And in that knowing, there is power. In that knowing, there is peace. In that knowing, there is divine closure. Type I am anointed in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1516 is now activated. They didn't just fall for you. They watch you, observed you, analyzed you. The way you love, the way you speak, the way you forgive. They noticed how deeply your heart moved, and they used it. But what they didn't realize is that Archangel Michael was watching too. Every misstep, every manipulation, every mask they wore to get close to your soul, it was documented in heaven's archive. Here was a plan to get close, not to love but to gain access, not to cherish but to control, not to commit but to confuse. Someone, or perhaps more than one, stepped into your life under the guise of care, but their spirit reeked of agenda. They spoke sweet, but acted strained. They kept you guessing while pretending to stay. They gave just enough to keep you hopeful, but never enough to make you whole. These are not random occurrences. These are calculated assignments. You felt it, that offbeat rhythm between your heart and their presence. One moment warm, the next cold. One moment intense, the next absent. This wasn't your mind playing tricks. It was your spirit sounding alarms. Misdirection became their tool. Mixed signals became their language. Silence was used to punish. Presence was used to pacify. And slowly, they began to erode your certainty. You started questioning yourself. Maybe you were too much. Maybe you expected too much. Maybe it was your fault. That, right there, was their true objective. To destabilize your identity through emotional distortion. But listen, and listen with spiritual clarity. Heaven never designed your love life to be a maze of confusion. Love is not a scavenger hunt for crumbs. Love is not meant to feel like survival. The very fact that your soul questioned its worth was the red flag that God tried to send you. And now, Archangel Michael is bringing confirmation to what you tried to ignore. The whispers behind your back weren't incidental. They were intentional. They spoke of you when you weren't around. They shared your softness as weakness. They mocked what they once praised. What you gave in love, they interpreted as leverage. And the enemy, sensing an open gate, crept in. But what they forgot is this: your heartbreak triggered heaven's intervention. Archangel Michael has watched you replay the conversations, revisit the texts, read the signs. But now, he comes to say, stop. Stop blaming yourself for what was never your fault. Stop replaying a version of events where you always end up wrong. There was a spiritual plan behind their emotional missteps, and it had nothing to do with your worth. It had everything to do with your warfare. Even now, as these words are spoken, something inside you is stirring. That is your spirit beginning to break free. That is your discernment recalibrating. That is heaven returning clarity to your emotional compass. Because what they tried to hijack, your love, is the very thing that will now empower you. If this message resonates with you and you feel moved to support, consider giving a super thanks with contributions of up to $20. Your kindness helps us bring more powerful content your way. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 999 is now surrounding you. You thought it was just a heartbreak. You thought it was just an emotional misstep, a failed connection, a personal flaw that invited the pain. But no, beloved. What you went through was not random. It was not emotional coincidence. It was spiritual combat cloaked in the disguise of romance. Your love life was never just about companionship. It was about covenant. And what the enemy feared was not your relationship. It was your revelation. That love, that connection, that deep emotional thread, it was never only personal. It was prophetic. And the adversary knew that if you ever loved right, if you ever connected with someone truly sent by heaven, the blueprint for your purpose would be activated. So what did the enemy do? He infiltrated your emotional space. He sent distractions with beautiful faces. He wrapped sabotage in smiles. He disguised delay in sweet conversations. And he turned your heart into a war zone. But God saw it all. Every moment you were gaslit. Every time you were made to feel less for expecting loyalty. Every time you gave love and were met with deception. And here is the truth Archangel Michael comes to declare. Your heartbreak was a battlefield. Your tears were spiritual signals. The rejection you felt was not proof of unworthiness. It was evidence of spiritual interference. They were never just after your affection. They were after your access, your purpose, your light, your gates. Yes, your emotional gates were targeted, because whoever controls your heart controls your vision. And whoever steals your love silences your calling. But God didn't allow it to destroy you. He allowed it to refine you, to awaken you, to armor you. Because you are not just anyone. You are a vessel carrying prophetic destiny. And when your heart broke, heaven heard the cracking sound as a call to arms. That's when Michael was assigned to guard your gates. He was assigned to seal the openings in your spirit where the enemy crept in, to block the residue of spiritual sabotage from clinging to your soul, to break the soul ties, the invisible cords wrapped around your worth, disguised as affection. Understand this now. The enemy saw your heart as a threat, not because of who loved you, but because of how you love. Pure, deep, loyal. The kind of love that heals bloodlines and restores broken homes. The kind of love that awakens others. And that's why you were tested so intensely. Because the devil hoped that by misusing your love, you would muzzle it. That by breaking your trust, he would bury your gift. But he failed. And he will always fail, because what God ordains cannot be overthrown by demonic schemes. This wasn't just heartbreak. This was an attempt to hijack heaven's assignment through counterfeit intimacy. But now, Archangel Michael comes with holy clarity to tell you this: the test has expired. The gate is sealed. The enemy is dismissed. And what was meant to break you is now what makes you. Heaven's intelligence has been released, and you are no longer vulnerable. You are vigilant. You are no longer confused. You are called. You are no longer aching. You are awakening. So stop mourning what left. Stop chasing what betrayed. Stop explaining what was never meant to be understood by those operating in spiritual deception. God is doing a new thing, and Michael has cleared the path. The sabotage has turned into a sanctification. And now, your love life is about to be rewritten by divine order. Type "I am divinely guarded" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2024 has now surrounded your future. Hear this in the spirit. Within the next 72 hours, something is going to shift. There is a divine countdown already ticking. What was hidden is about to be revealed. What was whispered behind your back is about to echo in the open. The masks are slipping. The lies are unraveling. The truth is being summoned, and it will not be silent. Archangel Michael is not just speaking now. He is acting. The time for waiting has ended. The time for wondering is over. The clock of exposure has begun. And those who use your heart as a strategy, those who manipulated your kindness, those who sat comfortably in your presence while sowing seeds of confusion behind your back, they are about to be exposed by light itself. They thought you wouldn't notice. They assumed your silence meant submission. I believe your tears were weakness. But what they failed to understand is that your silence was sacred strategy, that your tears were testimonies, that your stillness was surrender to heaven, not to them. In the next 3 days, emotional tension may rise. You may feel a pull to react, to explain, to defend yourself. But hear this: do not explain. Do not chase. Do not confront. Just observe. Stay in divine stillness. For the storm that's rising is not meant to destroy you. It's meant to expose them. Your silence will confuse them. Your peace will convict them. And your discernment will dismantle every illusion they tried to cast. This exposure is not your battle. It is Michael's assignment. And he does not fail. Every spirit that plotted your delay is now trembling under divine judgment. Every tongue that spoke against your love is being silenced by spiritual consequence. Every manipulation that played with your emotions is now unraveling. Fast, hard, and undeniably. They thought the plan was working. But the plan is backfiring. What they used to control you is now the very thing heaven is using to confront them. Your grace, your stillness, your transformation is their confusion. because they expected the broken version of you. But instead, they will encounter the evolved version of you, the one who no longer chases closure, but commands spiritual clarity. So be still. Do not call. Do not post. Do not beg. You are in divine lockdown. You are covered by heavenly authority. You are in the secret place where no weapon formed can prosper, and no life form can linger. The next 72 hours are holy. They are sacred. They are set apart for divine justice. Archangel Michael has sounded the trumpet. Exposure is here, and what they tried to hide will be laid bare. But you, chosen one, you will rise untouched, undisturbed, unbothered. Because this isn't revenge. It's revelation. And revelation always comes before restoration. Type "I am still" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 3333 is initiating angelic judgment. Withdraw now. Withdraw in spirit. Withdraw in emotion. Withdraw in thought. You are being pulled into divine lockdown, not because of fear, but because of protection. Heaven has sealed you under the shadow of the Almighty, and Archangel Michael now stands guard at the gate of your soul. This is not a time to fight back with flesh. This is not a time to post, to text, to call, to explain. Oh, this is a time to be hidden. Your heart is not up for discussion anymore. Your emotions are not a battlefield anymore. This is sacred territory now, off limits to manipulation, off limits to explanation, off limits to anything that seeks access without honor. Archangel Michael has taken position around your emotional field, and he is cutting every cord that was not divinely tied. He is silencing every whisper that was not God-breathed. He is fortifying the walls of your discernment. You must understand this. The stillness you are being called into is not punishment. It is preparation. You are not being silenced. You are being shielded. Every time you feel the urge to speak up, to prove your worth, to defend your heart, stop. That urge is the residue of trauma, not truth. That urge is the echo of old patterns that taught you to earn love by over-explaining your soul. Emma, you are no longer in the realm of reaction. You are in the realm of revelation. Let the silence speak. Let your absence echo louder than your presence ever could. Do not return to places where your spirit was discounted. Do not revisit conversations where your clarity was distorted. Do not explain your boundaries to people who celebrated your breakdown. You have outgrown the version of yourself that settled for spiritual starvation just to keep someone emotionally comfortable. This is the moment to declare over yourself, "My heart is hidden in divine armor." Say it until it anchors in your spirit. Say it until every urge to chase closure dissolves. Say it until your soul agrees with heaven's judgment. You are not just protecting your peace. You are honoring your purpose. Because every word you speak now becomes a seed. And heaven wants no more seeds of confusion planted in your atmosphere. So take your hands off the situation. Heaven has placed Michael's hands on it. Let him war while you wait. Let him strike while you sit. Let him clear the spiritual debris while you breathe. This battle is not yours. It never was. It belongs to the God who saw you broken, watched you give your last piece of trust, and decided that enough was enough. You are not being passive. You are being postured. Postured for protection. Postured for promotion. Postured for purity. Because what's coming next requires a soul that is no longer reactive, but ready. Ready to receive without fear. Ready to discern without delay. Ready to walk away without needing applause or apology. So detach. Not in bitterness, but in boldness. Detach not to prove a point, but to protect your power. You don't need them to understand. You don't need them to feel guilty. You only need to obey the instruction. Be still. Your silence is now your sword. Your quiet is now your covering. Your stillness is now your strategy. The divine lockdown has begun. Do not break protocol. Stay hidden. Stay guarded. Stay whole. Type I am hidden and God in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 414 is now your shield. You're not who you were when they met you. You're not the one who second-guessed her worth, who begged for clarity, who hoped that love would rewrite what loyalty couldn't. No. That version of you died in the fire, and what came out was not burnt, but branded. Branded with wisdom. Branded with discernment. Branded with a spiritual flame that cannot be quenched. You have become the fire, and that's what they didn't expect. They thought the betrayal would break you, but it birthed you. They thought the silence would suffocate you, but it strengthened you. They thought the emotional chaos would collapse you, but it constructed you into a vessel that no longer needs validation to move with power. The identity formed in pain is no longer your reflection. The mirror that once showed you through the lens of heartbreak is shattered. You are not the version of yourself that tried to be enough for people who were never even assigned to your story. You are the healed version, the holy Gurian, the version that no longer ties her value to someone's inability to love her right. Archangel Michael stands beside you now, not to defend your past, but to announce your present. You are no longer a victim. You are a vessel that heaven trusts with truth, a vessel that holds the oil of experience, the fire of wisdom, and the sword of discernment. You don't need closure. You need consecration. And that's what's happening now. There's a sacred empowerment rising inside you. A holy knowing. A righteous confidence. Not arrogance, but assurance. Because you know who you are now. You know what you carry. You know that what left wasn't loss. It was the lifting. You know that what broke wasn't betrayal. It was the blessing in disguise. Let silence speak your growth. Let peace preach your progress. You don't need to tell them what changed. You only need to walk in what's new. You are no longer available to patterns that drained you. You are no longer responsive to energies that confuse you. You are no longer emotionally rentable to people who cannot afford your presence. You're not angry. You're activated. You're not resentful. You're restored. You're not mourning. You're maturing. And that maturity has made you magnetic, not to pain, but to purpose. Not to chaos, but to covenant. The real ones will feel it. The false ones will flee from it. And let those who only valued your brokenness be confused by your boldness. Let those who fed off your insecurity be silenced by your strength. Let those who underestimated your healing be shocked by your holiness. You don't owe them proof. You owe God your praise. Because He brought you through. He lifted you up. He turned your heartache into a hope. And now, you rise not just as a survivor, but as a sign that divine justice is real, that restoration is possible, that love may fail but purpose never does. This is your new spiritual posture, powerful, peaceful, protected. Walk in it. Breathe in it. Be it. Type I am restored in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 7777 is now filling your atmosphere. You may not have understood it then. You may have questioned it 1,000 times in the midnight hour. You may have screamed in silence, asking why heaven would allow such betrayal to pierce a heart that only knew how to love deeply. But today, Archangel Michael speaks the truth that your soul has long awaited, This pain was never a punishment. It was permission. Permission granted by heaven to elevate you, to separate you, to seal you into a realm you could only access through fire. The betrayal was not about your worth. It was about your calling. They touched your heart to delay your purpose. But it failed. The moment they misused your love, they unknowingly activated a divine prophecy. Because heaven's kingdom operates in reversals, what was meant for evil becomes the seed of elevation. What was meant to destroy becomes the doorway to destiny. And this is the hour of your unlocking. You weren't just broken. You were being broken open. Because hidden within you was oil, spiritual potency, sacred knowing, prophetic depth. But that oil was trapped beneath layers of appeasement, self-doubt, and emotional loyalty to the wrong souls. So heaven allowed the pain, not to wound you, but to release what was inside of you. Every tear was a testimony. Every betrayal was a birthing. Every moment of silence was a spiritual setup. And now, Archangel Michael declares, what was withheld is being released. What was blocked is being opened. What was delayed is now accelerating. The divine embargo over your life hath been lifted, and restoration is no longer coming. It has begun. Let your spirit hear this. The love they faked is being replaced by the truth God ordained. The affection they used as a tool is being avenged by heaven's affection for you. The doors they shut in your face are being opened by hands that cannot be closed. This is a spiritual reversal. This is divine redemption. You didn't lose time, you gained revelation. You didn't waste love, you planted it in the soil of sacred promotion. You didn't get played, you got position. The trial with the training. The warfare was a witness. And the pain with the prophecy. Even now, your atmosphere is shifting. Angels are gathering the fragments of your soul, the shattered pieces of your hope, the bruised petals of your trust, and they are being restored, not to their former state, but to a higher, holier form, a version of you that is now untouchable by manipulation, immune to counterfeit affections, and guarded by the very sword of Michael himself. You are rising. And as you rise, everything that tried to hold you down is being judged. This rise isn't about revenge. It's about revelation. It's about stepping fully into the light of who you are, no longer dimmed by who they pretended to be. The light has come, and the shadows must flee. Archangel Michael now shifts you into restoration alignment. And as he moves, the heavens move with him. You will feel it in your sleep. You will sense it in your conversations. You will hear the truth in places where silence once lived. You will see the masks fall. You will feel the weight lift. This is your moment. This is your unlocking. Do not resist it. Do not look back. Do not reread old messages trying to find new meaning. That cycle is sealed. That chapter is done. That version of you no longer exists. If this word confirms your spirit, type I am unlocked in the comments. Blessing code 8787 is now being released over your life. You've been waiting on something to break. You've been praying for clarity, crying for breakthrough, and hoping that the inner war would somehow become peace. But now, the shift begins, not out there but within. Heaven isn't waiting on your enemies. Heaven isn't waiting on their apology. Heaven is waiting on your yes. Declare it now. My story shifts here. My soul reclaims me. Let those words rise from the ashes of your old narrative. Let them break through the chains of heartbreak and hesitation. Because your destiny is not a concept. It is a commission. And heaven is ready to move. The moment you surrender to the truth of who you've become. Alignment is happening. but your response activates it. You cannot sit in silence and expect the thunder of transformation. You must speak. You must claim it. You must move like someone who knows they are chosen, covered, and called. This is not just a feel-good moment. This is a divine initiation into the next dimension of your purpose. Archangel Michael is no longer just protecting. He is releasing. Releasing scrolls with your name etched in gold. Releasing favor stored up in the spiritual realm. Releasing relationships sealed by righteousness and covenant alignment. But you must release what was never yours. You cannot carry Egypt into Canaan. You cannot drag betrayal into blessing. Say it aloud. I release the weight. I release the war. I release what wounded me, because it no longer defines me. These are not just affirmations. They are spiritual keys. Each time you speak, doors are opening. Realms are responding. Heaven is aligning. You are the door now. Not the one they use. Not the one they abandoned. Not the one they disrespected. You are the door that leads to divine encounter, divine expansion, divine expression. What enters your life next must be divine, or it must be dismissed. Heaven has shifted, and so must you. No more waiting for clarity that's already within. No more begging for love that only delayed you. No more replaying what hurt just to understand why. You've seen enough. You've endured enough. You've wept enough. Now it's time to walk. Walk in power. Walk in purpose. Walk in peace. The next step is not about figuring it all out. It's about walking as if you already have. Because you do. The wisdom, the strength, the grace, it's all within you now. You are not preparing for destiny. You are the destiny. And heaven is watching your response. Every angel assigned to you is waiting on your command. Will you retreat into the past? Or will you step into the promise? The time is now. Not tomorrow. Not next month. Now. You are being rewritten by the very hand of God. The ink is fresh. The page is clean. The shame has been erased. The guilt has been removed. And in its place, boldness rises. Courage flows. Being sharpens. So move. Not in haste, but in holiness. Not in fear, but in faith. Move because the atmosphere has shifted in your favor. Move because Archangel Michael has already cleared the path. Move because your spirit is tired of staying in a place it's already outgrown. This is your divine permission slip. Heaven is calling roll, and your name is being spoken in rooms you've never walked into. Say yes, and then walk like you meant it. If you feel the divine alignment, type I am the door in the comments. Blessing code 3000 is now unlocking new paths before you. If this word is igniting something inside you, consider supporting this channel with a super thanks or membership. Your gift, even $10, helps us keep delivering powerful, prophetic revelations like this one. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. While you were sleeping, while your mind wrestled with what to forget and what to remember, while your heart replayed what they said and what they never had the courage to say, something began to shift. Not in the natural, but in the spiritual. You didn't hear it, but heaven did. You didn't see it, but angels did. The moment you stopped chasing what hurt you, heaven started releasing what heals you. The realm of the spirit is not still. It is not silent. It is moving, constantly, deliberately, divinely. And now, under the cloak of your quiet, Under the cover of your tears, Archangel Michael has initiated a silent exchange. This exchange is not happening in the courtroom of man, but in the council chambers of heaven. Your name has been called. Your pain hath been submitted as evidence, and your restoration is now the decree. This is not just a healing process. This is a holy transaction. The affection that was fake is being exchanged for true covenant. The attention that manipulated you, it's being traded for divine focus and heavenly favor. The connection that drained you, it's being replaced with alignment that blesses you. You are not just recovering, you are receiving. Even now, as you sit in silence, your soul is negotiating with eternity. What you lost in the natural is being restored in the spirit. Every time you cried yourself to sleep, an angel wrote it down, not to pity you, but to prepare a recompense. As tears, they testimonies, written in heaven's book, and now they are speaking on your behalf. There are contracts in the spirit realm, agreements that were tied to your destiny. Some were compromised. Some were contaminated. Some were never heaven approved in the first place. But in this moment, as you remain still, Michael is at work. He is renegotiating every covenant that was corrupted by manipulation, every soul tie that was laced with deceit, every unspoken agreement that drained your energy and dimmed your light. It is all being rewritten. The pain that haunted you was not just heartbreak, it was prophetic disruption. You were being pulled out of illegal agreements, relationships God never co-signed, affections heaven never endorsed. And now, in the quiet, the divine exchange begins. You will feel it. You will sense it. Your sleep will shift. Your dreams will clarify. Your energy will return. Not because someone finally said sorry, but because heaven said enough. The torment is ending. The soul confusion is closing. And in its place, divine clarity is rising. Not just about them, but about you. You are not someone's emotional auction. You are heaven's intentional design. You are not a casualty of love gone wrong. You are a vessel of love reborn in truth and glory. And listen closely. You don't have to fight for this. You don't have to fix it. All you have to do is surrender. Trust the silence. Stay in the stillness. Let heaven do what it does best. Restore in secret. Reward in public. The same people who watched your heart get misused will now witness your elevation without explanation. This is the silent exchange. A holy reversal where heaven takes what was broken and gives you beauty. Where God trades ashes for oil. Where tears become triumph. And where silence is the signature on your new covenant. So breathe. Rest. Let the unseen realm do its work. Type I trust heaven's silence in the comments if this message speaks to you. Blessing code 2424 is releasing divine agreements now. They didn't just misuse your heart. They violated a divine law. They didn't just lie to you. They interfered with your destiny. And now, the gavel has fallen in heaven's courtroom. This is not a process. This is a decree. Justice is not coming. It has already begun. The misuse of your love, the misreading of your motives, the mislabeling of your intentions, it was all recorded. Not by man, but by God. And now, the judge of heaven and earth has ruled. The case is closed. The scales are being balanced. What they did to you is returning, multiplied. This is the divine reversal. And it is swift. The same way they dismissed your loyalty will be the way doors begin closing for them. The same way they manipulated your words will be the same way their own voice loses power. Not by your hand, but by heaven's hand. You are not to seek vengeance. You are to watch vindication. Because heaven does not forget. Heaven does not overlook the wounds inflicted on those who carry purpose, especially not when the target was your heart. Your emotions were not entertainment. Your vulnerability was not weakness. It was worship. It was offering. And they dishonored what heaven deemed holy. And now, Archangel Michael has stepped into judgment mode. He's not just protecting anymore. He's executing divine willings. Every false promise, cancelled and reversed. Every manipulation, broken and exposed. Every delay their presence caused, accelerated into blessing. Every detour they provoked, redirected into purpose. And listen to this. You don't even have to witness it. You don't need to see the karma. You don't need to hear the apology. Spiritual justice is not about satisfying your ego. It's about sealing your elevation. And it's already in motion. You'll know it by the peace that suddenly returns, by the burden that suddenly lifts, by the opportunities that suddenly open. That's the signature of reversal. That's the fingerprint of divine justice. There's no more begging heaven for closure. You've received court-stamped confirmation from the throne of grace. Your heart is cleared. Your name is vindicated. Your soul is restored. What they did has now become the very evidence God used to catapult you. Their betrayal is your blessing receipt. Their rejection is your redirection. Their silence is the stage for your next sound. You are no longer under their control. You are under divine covering. And the best part, you didn't have to lift a finger. You didn't retaliate. You did return the paying. And because of that, heaven is rewarding you publicly for what you endured privately. The throne room has ruled in your favor. Judgment is sealed. The angels have been dispatched. And the glory is about to fall on you so heavily, even your enemies will have to say, "Surely, the Lord is with them." So don't move in anger. Move in assurance. Don't talk about what happened. Testify about what's coming. Don't fight for justice. Live in the reward of it. Because your story doesn't end in betrayal. It ends in blessing. Type "I am vindicated" in the comments if this word confirms your season. Blessing code 5656 is stamping divine rulings now. If this message resonates deeply with your spirit and you feel led to support this channel, consider giving a super thanks with gifts of up to $50. Your support brings more revelations like this to life. Also, if you'd like to support what we do, you can make a difference by donating through the support here link in the description of this video. Every contribution helps us keep creating and sharing more with you. You are not broken. You are reborn. You are not wounded. You are a weapon in the hands of heaven. Everything they did to your heart, God has turned into healing. Everything they tried to take from your spirit, God has transformed into supernatural strength. Your love was not wasted. It was weaponized by heaven. What you gave in innocence was used by God to ignite insight. What they misunderstood as weakness became your wonder. What they mishandled became your mantle. And now, you are no longer a wandering soul. You are a sealed one. Sealed in grace. Sealed in clarity. Sealed in power. Archangel Michael has done his work. He exposed the plan. He confronted the chaos. He covered your heart. And now, you stand in divine peace. Not because the world is silent, but because your spirit is settled. Heaven's affirmation over you is louder than their rejection. God's promise over your life is heavier than their silence. His pain was your prophecy. His silence is your strength. You no longer need to prove who you are. You don't need their apology. You have heaven's approval. You don't need their attention. You have angelic assistance. And every step from this moment forward is covered in glory. So rise, not timidly. Rise boldly. Rise beautifully. Rise knowing that heaven has seen you, sealed you, and sent you. You are loved differently now, by heaven itself. You are not someone seeking love. You are someone surrounded by divine love, guarded by holy light, and destined for unshakable peace. What's ahead is not a repeat of the past. What's ahead is redemption, a love that is holy, a purpose that is clear, a journey that is protected. Walk in it, breathe in it, rest in it, and above all, believe in it. Type "I am sealed in divine love" in the comments to affirm this final blessing. Blessing code 888 is now wrapping your future in heaven's peace.